Ladies and gentlemen, we now end the inaugural session. I hand over the stage to Dr. Manjari Singh to commence the proceedings for session 1.
Good morning. I am Dr. Manjari Singh, Associate Fellow at CLAWS. Now we proceed to the first session on future threats and challenges, India's preparedness in multi-domain operations. The session will analyze the emerging security threats and challenges in the region in the current scenario. The session will primarily focus on future threats and challenges and India's preparedness and future military strategy in multi-domain operations. It will also delve into the concept of war fighting in MDO and the need for redefining our doctrines and concepts in fighting joint wars in the future. The session is chaired by Lieutenant General Dr. V.K. Ahluwalia, PVSM, AVSM and BAR, YSM, VSM retired. General Ahluwalia, presently Director, Center for Land Warfare Studies. He superannuated as a General Officer, Commanding-in-Chief, Central Command. Thereafter, he served as the member, Armed Forces Tribunal, Jaipur Jodhpur Bench. A doctorate in Internal Security and Conflict Resolution. He has authored a book titled Red Revolution 2020 and Beyond, and has co-edited books such as Surprise, Strategy in Vijay, 20 Years of Kargil and Beyond, and COVID-19 and its Challenges, Is India Future Ready? The first speaker in the panel is Mr. Nitin Gokhale. Mr. Gokhale is a media entrepreneur and strategic affairs analyst. He is a specialist in conflict coverage and has lived and reported from India's northeast for 23 years. He has been on the ground at Kargil in the summer of 1999 and also brought us live reports from Sri Lanka's Elam War 4 between 2006 and 2009. He writes, lectures, and analyzes security and strategic matters. He now owns and runs two important portals, bharatshakti.in and stratnewsglobal.com. Mr. Nitin Gokhale will be speaking on regional security challenges in the Indian subcontinent. Our second speaker is Air Marshal Stuart Evans, retired. He joins us from UK. Air Marshal Stuart Evans superannuated as the Deputy Commander in NATO's Allied Air Command in August 2019. He is a certified tornado, qualified weapons instructor, and flying instructor. He served as the first RAF member within the Strategic Studies Group, working directly for the Chief of the US Air Force in the Pentagon, followed by a tour at the Defense Doctrine and Concept Center as Head of Joint Doctrine. He has held the appointment of Senior British Military Advisor to US Central Command in Florida in 2014. Air Marshal Evans will be speaking on concept of war fighting in MDO. The third speaker for the session is Lieutenant General D.S. Hooda, PVSM, UISM, AVSM, VSM and BAR, retired. General Hooda, superannuated as Army Commander Northern Command. He, as the GOC in C, planned and orchestrated the surgical strike in 2016. He is the first Chief Logistic Officer for the newly raised United Nations mission to Ethiopia and Eritrea. He is currently on the advisory board of Cyber Peace Foundation, an NGO dealing with cyber protection and training, and also on the advisory board of Cyber Security Research Center at Punjab Engineering College. He is the founder of the Center for Strategic and Defense Research, a New Delhi-based think tank. General Hooda will be speaking on Indian military strategy in future conflicts. With this, I invite the chair for further proceedings. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, as also our greetings to our foreign panelists in the UK and the United States of America. At the outset, I would like to convey our heartfelt gratitude to the Chief of Army Staff for his very perceptive and thought-provoking address. In fact, he has covered a very wide canvas and has set the stage for today's proceedings. At the same time, as the Director Clause, it's my great privilege and honor to welcome each and every one of you for today's proceedings. I'd also like to make a mention about Divya Drishti. This expression has been coined by Lieutenant General Rakesh Sharma. What does it really mean to the armed forces? It means that the policy makers and the warriors must have the vision to foresee the threats and challenges of the future and to proactively formulate doctrines, strategies, war-fighting concepts, and organizational structures to deal with the threats effectively. That is what I would call it is Divya Drishti 2021, and it will remain the same as we move along in the future years. As a Director Clause, it's also my duty to lay down some rules for the webinar today. Each chairperson would get 10 minutes, and all the panelists would get 15 minutes each for their presentations. And now I just want to make an announcement to my fellow panelists. My time starts now. Right? Okay, gentlemen, what I want to say is that last year, due to a number of conflicts in Middle East, North Africa, and the adjoining region, as also in the Indian subcontinent, a number of articles appeared on the MDO. Many of them focused on a book called Unrestricted Warfare, a book that was written by two senior colonels of the PLA Air Force in the year 1999. It was translated into different languages from 2005 onwards. For what did it really bring out? It brought out the modern warfare strategy on multiple fronts, including cyber, space, electromagnetic, information, and psychological warfare. It also brought into focus a very important aspect, the role of other elements of national power. That means political, economic, informational issues, as also international policies. And thirdly, I want to quote to you a very famous statement given in that book, which actually highlights the MDO in its essence. And I quote that. It reads, "From a computer room or from the trading floor of a stock exchange, a lethal attack on a foreign country can be launched from anywhere. Where is the battlefield? It is everywhere," unquote. True to the words, 2 decades later today, we are very sure that the battle space, I won't call it battlefield, the battle space is everywhere. And it is in the multi-domain operations and warfare. So with that, I want to say that I'm going to highlight 3 important issues during my opening remarks. 1 is the threats and challenges of the future. 2, the MDO. And 3, some very important lessons of the conflict that took place in the Middle East, North Africa, and the adjoining regions. Let me talk about the first one, the threats and challenges. Conflicts are a function of threats and challenges, and they actually enjoy a symbiotic relationship between the two of them. It brings me to another question. What are the factors that lead to a conflict? I'm just going to cover a sense of those. Number 1 is geopolitics and the growing economic tension between the states, particularly among the great powers. 2 is the competition for fast diminishing natural resources. 3 is the 4th industrial revolution, disruptive technologies, and the build-up for military by the countries, particularly the great powers. Also, the environmental degradation and its impact on security. The role of cyber, space, electromagnetic, electronic warfare, information, and psychological warfare is another area where you can have conflicts in the future. And another very important aspect is proliferation of nuclear, biological, and chemical weapon systems the world over. I'll only dilate only two important aspects. First one is the fourth industrial revolution. It is a fusion of technologies and technology-led applications. You may all recall that in the year 2016, during the World Economic Forum, the theme of the forum was mastering the fourth industrial revolution. Why? Because it has a huge impact both during peace and war. So technology is actually going to revolutionize the character of war in the future. Disruptive technologies, a large number of countries today have shifted their focus towards artificial intelligence as also disruptive technologies with a view to gain advantage over the adversaries. I won't dwell more on this, but I'd like to make a mention about the role of cyber, space, electronic, magnetic, as also information warfare. Cyber, as you all are aware, information and data is the new strategic weapon of the future. And therefore, all our communication networks, both in the commercial and military spheres, as also the data, would continue to remain vulnerable to cyber attacks and cyber espionage. Talking about space, I'll make a mention that space today is highly contested amongst the great powers, both in the commercial and military domains, purely because space today is weaponized and militarized. And this actually is a source of conflict in the future. So I would leave that at the moment about the threats and challenges and move on to multi-domain operations. As the chief also mentioned, that we have moved away from the traditional and conventional forms of warfare, land, air, and sea. He gave example of cyberspace, electromagnetic, as also information, and I also want to reiterate the same, that this is the important aspect, but it is not military alone. The role of other elements of national power are as important, which are going to be part of the conflict in the future. Political, economic, trade, investment, as also information and psychological warfare. All those will actually form part of the MDO in the future. I also want to make a mention that today the world is talking about asymmetric capabilities being developed by countries which are particularly militarily weak in terms of cyber, in terms of missionaries, as also mercenaries, as also private military companies, and precision-guided munitions. So I think all those are now a part of the future warfare. As also, I'm sure the panelists hereafter would speak on the hybrid warfare, which is a blend of political, economic, social, technological, all those aspects in a warfare. So also the gray zone concept, where we talk about that it oscillates between war and peace. We find that it is not military alone. It has a huge impact on the geopolitics at the national and international levels. I now just touch very briefly upon some of the lessons that we have learned in the recent times from the conflicts of Middle East, North Africa, and the adjoining regions. First of all, it is the role of regional and extra-regional powers, as also the role of non-state actors, state-sponsored non-state actors, rebels fighting within the countries, as also the proxy forces which are operating in those countries. Third is the role of cyberspace has actually been seen in a very large extent. Employment of drones, employment of precision-guided munitions, loitering ammunitions, all those actually have already been seen in Azerbaijan as an Armenia conflict last year. Also, I would like to make a mention about the vulnerability of traditional land units and formations, particularly when they face drones, precision-guided munitions, and long-range vectors on a battlefield. And lastly, I would say there's a need to integrate the land-based fire support systems with the air defense at the tactical level, with the drones, with the air power, and all that to be put together to make them more effective. Now I want you all to have a look at this multi-domain warfare. You'll find that there are the traditional domains, land, air, and sea. Then you have the extra additional military domains, which are given on the right side. Then you have the non-state actors, as also other elements of national power, which I mentioned: political, economic, trade, investment, information, public information systems, all of them form part of the other elements of national power. Along with that, you also see in dotted lines, the regional and extra-regional powers have a role in the MDOs. My quote, yeah. There's a need to change our mindset and to keep pace with the speed of change. Now I'll just come back to my second hat, Director Claus. For the webinar, I'd like to list out a few questions for the webinar to have a look. Proposed changes in doctrine, strategies, operational concepts, and organizations to keep pace with the speed of change in the threats posed in the multi-domain operations. Extensive problem technology-led applications and the countermeasures. Security challenges posed by the information age in the multi-domain operations and the countermeasures. Measures to counter threats in cyberspace and electromagnetic spectrum. Measures to counter the growing role of proxy wars, non-state actors, and irregular forces to achieve politico-military objectives, and also to achieve jointness stroke integration, which some of our friends are going to speak from the US. I'd now like to say that some of these may be answered during the interactive session after each session, session 1, 2, and 3. Now I come to our own distinguished panelists of the chair, session 1. We have a distinguished panelist in the first session, and I'll first like to begin. They have already been introduced by the Dr. Manjari Singh. I'd like to now call upon the first panelist, Mr. Nitin Gokhale. He's a specialist on security and strategic matters. His subject is regional security challenges in the Indian subcontinent. He has been given 2 questions to also answer during his presentation. I'll read out those 2 questions for you. Question number 1 is, what are the major threats and challenges to security on the Indian subcontinent? 2, what is the relevance of Quad and its military significance to counter the Chinese threats? With that, Nitin Gokhale will be on the stage. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.